I mean, think about Jackson. She ain't going anywhere. She's young. I mean, she's not going anywhere. Sotomayor is thinking about stepping down. She won't do it now. I mean, she's going to try to hang on for dear life at least for these 4 years and see what happens. Like, that's for sure. But I mean, Thomas and Alito are no spring chickens. I mean, I think they still have a lot of juice left in them. I'm just thinking strategically. That's just my 2 cents.
With what they put Thomas through, maybe he's ready to step down. He's just waiting for word.
You're very forward thinking. For me, I'm still very concerned that this is just going to turn into another giant narrative that doesn't go away. This will be, Russia 2.0.
Which was
Trump's a convicted felon.
Nah, but that was already litigated in the court of public opinion. No one gave a shit.
No,
I mean,
I agree. I think nobody
give a shit.
gives a shit. Nobody should give a shit. I think the American
They see it for what it is.
And maybe you're right. Maybe this will be a good thing. I hope they do this because it'll just turn public sentiment against them.
I'll tell you this.
Even more.
I've never been proven wrong on this one, and I've said it on the show before. I'm going to say it again. You're going to hear me say it again, and that's not because I'm so smart. It's just the way God designs life. If you want to find out someone's true character, you give them power or problems. You'll find out their true character, power or problems. And you're seeing the release of power and big problems for Democrats, and you're seeing what they're doing. You're seeing their true character in every way. You saw Trump's true character during problems, and then now you're going to see his true character in power. And I think he is starting off well. He's starting off well. Look, I've criticized the hell out of him over time, but I'm going to call balls and strikes. And I mean, he's doing a very good job. There's just a different Donald Trump. I mean, what are you really bitching about Donald Trump now? What's so crazy about him? Gulf of America, and I saw some post, I guess, whatever that trash newspaper that we have in this town posted somebody and someone sent me the Instagram link, and I like looking at the comments. And many people are like, oh, who cares? And then something like, he's crazy, insanity, what a circus. Circus? California's a circus. This country's a circus. Go down to San Pedro and see if it's a circus with the illegal aliens. Go to the Valley. Ask the Valley people if they think it's a circus or not and why they voted red. Go anywhere. That these ideas, again, I really stick to ideas. Forget about labels. We have to talk about labels. I get it, the tribalism. But the ideas, these ideas are not good. I really want, it's interesting you talked about that poll. Less than 22% thought that Biden did anything. I didn't know that, but that just affirms the conversation I had with my buddy saying, what are you proud of? What are you happy that Biden did? I mean, and he had, is there really not one good Democrat idea? I go, currently, no. I can't think of one. I mean, and I'm really open. If someone makes a comment, Mark Antoine or Alamo Talk or somebody, please post it in here. Give me one good idea that the Democrats, the current Democrat ideology platform has done. I'm really racking my brain. I mean, and aside from you're pro-life or pro-choice.
That question, even if you just narrow it in on Biden administration,
what have they done?
Well, anything that they've done worked. That's been good.
And then he even tried to mess with Title IX. And then that federal judge, thank God, said, no, you're not going to do it, so they're going to have to appeal it. But he tried to incorporate in Kentucky appealed Title IX to say you have to include transgender men, or whatever the hell the term is, and compete with women. I thought that's been litigated. And people don't like that shit, not even Democrats. Very few people like that. Nobody wants a man. No one wants a human being with junk, between his legs, kicking the shit out of girls. In any sport. It's just not right. We have Title IX for a reason. And if the Democrats are supposed to be the party of the women, what are we doing? Oh, but they really are women. Now you're going to get in that talk with me that a dude is a woman because he says he is? This is, you want to talk about circus? That's it's Barnum and Bailey's bullshit. It is. That ideology.
Amen.
But even the whole Lake and Riley law, when they didn't vote for, getting rid of illegals or
on party lines.
Yeah.
On party lines. When it comes, look, there's a little bit of split when it comes to the illegal immigrants because people are not stupid. They're looking at their people. I mean, their constituents. I mean, but there's a little. I'm hoping that some Democrats will wise up and see where Trump's ideas are going, and really the Republican Party's going. What are the Democrats going to do? Who do they have? Gretchen. What's her name? Whitmer? I mean, I guess that's their future. I mean, that's their future. I guess Newsom's done. I mean, I just can't. I mean, is Kamala going to come back? Who do they have? Think about it.
AOC's not it.
I mean, she thinks she is, but I mean, I welcome her. I hope she runs. By the way, I mean, what are they really going to do? Who are they?
Even
pressing
people
up?
are talking about Michelle Obama, but I can't.
Oh, there's no way. The Obamas are done. Obamas are done.
Yeah.
No way.
She couldn't even make it to Carter's funeral.
She
She was dunking on people in the basket.
I mean, that was a glaring absence. Truly. I don't know, man. I keep coming back to what Trump said. Nothing. Well, my paraphrase is nothing succeeds like success. And I think people are looking. I'm telling you, there's a lot of expectation. This is all one. Trump is really enjoying. I mean, Trump is truly popular at this point across the country.
Yeah, the world.
Yeah, the most popular guy in the world.
Yeah.
You could say finally. Boy, what a difference! What a difference in election.
No.
I don't know. I think that's wonderful, but it's also very scary because he's got to capitalize on this stuff. I mean, there's enormous pressure on him to perform, and no wonder he's been working full time, making sure he gets all his ducks in a row to make sure he can hit the ground.
He's doing great, man. I mean, he really is. I mean, he's really meeting with the
This is
senators,
what fuels
meeting
him,
with
right?
the House.
Mm-hmm. But he's so much wiser. He's just different. His temperance, his demeanor, his words. I mean, I just think. I mean, where's the resistance? I mean, within his own party, everybody's on board.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's on board. It would not be this way if he didn't win the popular vote. Even if he would have crushed the Electoral College, it would not be like this. Even the media. Now you got Zuckerberg saying, "Oh, we're going to change our policy. No more." I mean, you got people criticizing him because he pulled all this shit. Is he an opportunist? I don't know. I watched some of the Joe Rogan when he was on. I mean, he comes across genuine. I mean, he was intimidated. I mean, he's talking about the FBI and the federal and the DOJ threatening him, and that's intimidating. I don't care if you're a billionaire or not. You can be a billionaire from prison if So
Right.
I mean, he was not as seasoned. I don't know. Look, time will tell. I get why people are cautious with him. He's not an Elon Musk. He'll never be an Elon Musk.
No.
Elon Musk was there in the trenches, telling everybody to go piss off. In the middle of it, putting up, losing money, investing. I mean, his investment in Twitter will go down as one of the most significant things that anyone's done for free speech.
And one of the most insane things. No one understood it in
Nobody
the very
understood it.
beginning. How much did he pay
I
for
mean,
it?
God,
24 billion.
seriously, I pray God continues to bless Elon Musk. I don't agree with him on everything. I don't have to. I know why he got into that fight. We talked about this a couple of months ago because his son transitioned.
Yes.
And he goes, I believed it. They lied to me. My son's dead. I mean, gosh, I wonder what his son is doing when he listens to it now. He always has his little boy, and he's got like 27 kids with 14 women. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. But I mean, he's always walking around with the younger one.
Pretty good idea
shoulders.
what's going on there.
Well, he said that people aren't having kids anymore, and he wants to repopulate America.
They call him the human jackhammer for a reason. But I mean, but what
not
I'm
have
saying
an
is,
open-
it doesn't get any more personal than your kids. So I
Right.
get it. I mean, he felt like his kid was taken from him, and truly he was, and that he was complicit in it because he believed all the lies because of the lack of free speech and all the narratives that were out there. And he said, "I'll be damned," I get it, man. When it comes to like with my son, with the one Michael who's on the spectrum of autism,
Yep.
who I will tell you, 100% is vaccine injured, and I was willing to risk it all. Don't talk about this while you're DA. Fuck you. My son doesn't talk because of somebody's greed and selfishness and deception. You think I'm not going to talk? I talk for a living. I defend people and I advocate for a living. I'm not going to advocate for my own kid. Go piss on your dead grandma. It was that type of conversation. It's that type of passion that you have, and let the chips fall where they fall. I get Elon Musk. I do. So I give him a little deference even when he's wrong about things.
Yeah.
But God bless him. Good for him. Good for him for what he did. And if you study this, we're going to study this for years to come. Trump's political journey from 16 to his presidency the first time, the resistance, what he went through, the lawfare, because it's true, what he went after, physical, emotional, societal, I mean, everything.
Monetary.
I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. And we're going to look back and marvel at it one day. And I think I've seen God's hand in all this. And whether he's a Christian, whether he's a Christ follower or a Christian or he's saved or not, that's between him and the Lord. But God bless Donald Trump. And I pray for him. My wife and I pray for him and his administration because we pray for this country. And so he's the president. I prayed for Biden. We prayed in do we not pray for Biden in men's Bible study?
Yeah.
For 4 years. Not every week. But we prayed for President Biden because as a Christian, we're called to pray for our leaders. We're called to pray for a change of heart. We're called to pray for a bending of the knee. We're called to pray for a servant's heart. That's what we're called to pray for. So I prayed, and we prayed for Kamala Harris. And if if Kamala would have won, I would have been praying for her too. We're holding my nose, but I would have prayed for her.
You know, we care about these policies because ultimately they reveal that there's an underlying ideology, a way of thinking about reality and people that's either very helpful or very destructive. And it's I'll speak for myself, in my estimation, these are deeply, deeply destructive things. They're not just things I disagree with philosophically or academically. They're things that are destructive to people. They hurt people. We've been talking over the last hour and change about policies that ultimately have damaged human beings. It occurs to me that right now in LA, I wonder, Nico, how many of these people are even insured, because insurance companies pulled out of the LA basin years ago because state regulators would not allow them to adjust their rates to cover the increased exposure risk that was growing along with all the undergrowth and the brush and the hills that the state refused to clean up, that we were talking about here over the last hour. And they knew this was coming. This is the point. Insurance companies themselves knew this coming, and they jettisoned out of there. And everybody knew this was coming. Gavin Newsom knew it was coming. He didn't care. Karen Bass knew it was coming. She didn't care. The Los Angeles Fire Department chief knew this was coming. Surely she didn't care. She was too busy starting a DEI bureau inside the fire department, because that's really important, apparently, whether you're what your gender is. I truly
hate DEI.
It truly is disgusting.
Legitimate.
This is an ideology. It's a significant religious proportion. Yeah. The whole climate thing, climate change thing, is religious in nature. Think about the arrogance to say that the entire planet's temperatures are turning on whether I refuel my SUV. Think about the arrogance of saying that you have that kind of power. See, God's out of a job. So now human beings can do anything they want to do. We actually believe we have that kind of power. And by the way, it's on both sides. Nico and I have taught on this notion of false humility. Whenever you say it's entirely our fault, wow, that's giving yourself quite a bit of power. And when you say it's never your fault, that's also saying, the same thing in reverse. This is what's happened, really. This is a religious proposition. It really is. That it's unbelievably arrogant. And if you look at the climate religion, it refuses to look at information. It picks pieces of data sets, builds policies on twisted data sets to drive a narrative. And those policies always hurt human beings. And then when the shit hits the fan and the city's on fire, it's everybody else's fault.
Yep.
And Americans, I think, have caught on. I pray they have. And that's what I'm saying. They're looking at January 21st and beyond with a sigh of relief, which is really what makes Biden's departure and the way he's departing. The 625 million acre drilling ban is beyond the pale. I mean, we need to do this. We've got to tap into these natural resources to help an America that's really, it's far from being on life support, but man, we're damaged. And these
that's why Trump kept saying drill, baby, drill, drill, baby, drill. Mm-hmm. I mean, so he's trying to stop the drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill is legitimately economically, when you think about fuel and how it affects all of the economy. Everything depends on energy. Mm-hmm. Everything does. I mean, so this is a big deal. I mean, in what other way?
Truly is.
The only answer for this is that this is this cult of this climate crisis. Look, who doesn't believe that there's climate change? Now, whether it's the question is whether it's man-induced climate change to the degree that it's some type of existential threat. I mean, Al Gore, all of his predictions have been wrong. To George's point on the show earlier in the radio portion, all of them. We should be burned up or underwater by now. Mm-hmm. I mean, none of it's happening. Obama doesn't believe this shit. Where does he live?
On an island.
On an island.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe that stuff.
No.
I mean, but people just need to do a little bit of research, a little bit of work, a little bit of questioning, a little bit of critical thinking, a little bit of advocacy, a little bit like the lady did. I'm on the phone with the president. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Governor. Like, show me. I want to know.
I don't believe you.
I can't get a hold of him.
Said that.
I can't get a hold of him. Then I would have said, I thought you said you're on the phone with him, Governor. Did you lie to me? I mean, it's that type of. I mean, it exposes people when you ask questions. That's why for Trump to subject themselves to these press conferences says to me a lot. It truly means what he said in the governor's press conference. We have nothing to hide. I love that statement. That is a big statement. And I love that he ended with that. We have nothing to hide.
That's
Kind
right.
of expect
And
more
put
of
all
this.
the information out
Yeah.
there on every topic. We don't do the science. We do science. And
Yeah.
we need to we need to be having conversations about this more often. I welcome it. I really do. And I think in the Trump era and beyond, by God's grace, we need to be able to have more conversations about this climate change religion. I happen to believe it's more than just a view. It truly is religious in nature. The overwhelming majority of young people believe this is an existential threat. This is a problem that influences their thinking. It influences their outlook on life. It influences the choices they make about themselves, about whether they get married, about whether they have kids, right? This has a real effect on people. And the reality is, if the geologic record actually matters, and you look at the geologic record over the last 500 million years, the Earth has been hotter. The Earth, don't go,
10,000?
don't do it.
10,000? Okay, sorry.
The Earth has been hotter than it is today. I mean, truly. And human beings have been around, modern humans, here we go. Modern humans have been around about
10,000 years? Oh, sorry.
150,000
That's
years.
right.
That's right. All day long, baby.
Sorry.
That's right. And so modern humans really have come and they've changed everything.
But a friend of mine
Right.
even says the polar ice caps on Mars are also melting. And so who's starting their car there?
Yeah.
It's an
making that happen.
What's a good point? It's an ebb and flow
Right.
of change. And if I go and I pick a certain piece of data, I can make it say whatever it is I want to say.
Yeah.
I want to look at the entire story. Look, they take surface temperature readings in urban centers at Heathrow Airport, for goodness sakes. At any major airport, and they wonder why it's particularly hot. They refuse to cite less distressing satellite readings. Why? But those are more accurate. It's more global in nature. They're attributing single extreme weather events to climate change without supporting data. They magnify these things into existential threats, and they play on that fact up close. Every single natural disaster is the end of the world. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Every single one. Every time there's good news, they suppress good news. Like the fact that we didn't die those 150 times that they said we were going to die. That's pretty good news. Maybe we ought to go back and revisit
People don't
our
remember.
assumptions.
Remember, it was when I was growing up, it was global warming.
Yeah.
But then the problem is like, okay, we're not burned up by now, so it's climate change. Well, of course there's climate change.
The polar
Think
bears
about
are
it.
drowning.
The Ice Age in the
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same. It's always something different. That's why people just need to spar with these ideas in their mind. That's all I'm saying. No one, I don't think George is ever, and he's more the scientist in he's definitely the scientist in our group, but he's never advocated there's not climate change. I've never
Yeah.
taken that position.
Yeah.
It's whether it's man-induced,
Right.
and is it to the degree that it's significant enough for us to burn the barn down, no pun intended, on every other issue and policy and initiative for climate change. Like that's the big thing. I mean, so no, there's no evidence that backs it up.
It's the whole thing is just so absurd. Of course, the climate changes. For goodness sakes, it damn well better. What I was going to say, Nico, back to kind of what started me on my rant, the philosophy is particularly disturbing to me. It really preys on young people's weaknesses, and we've got a generational problem around this. It's almost like I've heard it say it's a get out of life free card. It sort of legislates against ambition. You know, what the hell is the point? I mean, like I said, there's no reason to raise kids if we're all going to die, and in the end, it just spares them all that agony and pain,
Yeah, no kidding.
right? And then the whole overpopulation bullshit.
We're actually underpopulated.
Underpopulated.
I mean,
Ask Elon.
No, but
yeah.
but this is part of the Bill Gates
Yeah.
climate hysteria. Of course, we're not against climate change. Of course, it's obvious. I'm against the climate crisis.
I'm going to say
the
something.
climate
The
hysteria
only
narrative.
reason why I hope Trump met with Bill Gates is because if he was living out or showing or applying the keep your friends close, but your enemies
Yeah.
close. I hope
Yeah.
that's the only reason why. Because I think Bill Gates is an evil son of a bitch. I do. I can't. I have a hard time. I've never prayed for him, so I'm not going to lie. But I think he's an evil man. So I hope that's the only reason why he met with Bill Gates. I think Bill Gates is a piece of dog shit. I mean that. Now, if he wanted to call me and he asked to talk about the gospel, I would, because then he wouldn't be a piece of dog shit if he submitted himself to Christ. But as of right now, I just think what he's done has been horrific over years and years and years, and to third world countries and experimenting in
Awful.
Africa and all the things he's done and what he's done. And I just think he's a globalistic, evil person. I really do. So I don't know. So I hope Trump is careful, because last time my understanding is he had a different idea on pharmaceuticals and vaccines and all that stuff. And then Bill Gates, when he came into office the first time, came and sat him down, and then that's when he kind of gave Bobby he went dark on Bobby, because Bobby was going to come in the first time on the first administration. But you know what? At the way it goes, the chess game has been played eternally. God is the one moving the pieces. So, I mean, I like the way it played out this way more than if Trump would have been in office for 8 years straight. I think it would have been a very different country. In some ways good, but in other ways it would have been even more divided. I think we are more collectively together as a whole because of what Trump went through. He was the guinea pig.
And because of what we went through as a country.
Yes. Yeah, alongside him.
What's the end game? I mean, really, of the hysteria of all from Bill Gates to anyone else on this whole climate
change. Did you see the press going crazy when Fetterman said he was going to go to Mar-a-Lago? They were like, "Why are you going?"
I hope he goes. It'd be great.
I like that dude, man.
I do too.
He's growing on me, man.
But setting aside the fake,
hey, you guys,
setting aside this bullshit science, look at what it offers. What does it bring us? I mean, these people are angry. They're hostile. They're spiteful. I mean,
people say that about you too, George.
It's not.
I'm just joking. They don't say that. They don't say that.
I always consider the source and I ignore it.
No, thank you.
Excluding present company. But you've got prophets of this nonsense for the last half a century, and they've been wrong every time. And the reality is, they don't need to succeed. Think about this for a moment. They don't need to succeed because they're preying on fear, and human beings are fearful. And this, for me, in the Gospels, has been perhaps the most meaningful part of the Jesus narratives. I love when Jesus walks into the midst of crowds and he calms people down and tells them that they don't need to be afraid. They don't need to be afraid. And the reality is that when human beings are separated from God, that is their inevitable state. They are in a state of fear and constant fear. Truly. And this pathetic, horrific, nihilistic religion is a death cult. That's the point. It siphons you of your ambition, truly. What the hell is the point? It's all going to end anyway. 50 years of warnings. They've all been wrong.
All of them been wrong.
But they still maintain.
All of them been wrong.
They still maintain their right. They funnel billions of dollars towards this. The academic system is built around it. The International Panel on Climate Crisis, they're the experts. They have crisis in their mission. They need crisis to exist. That's the point. It's time we get away from this bullshit and start getting back to true scientific analysis. Can we make carbon dioxide great again? Can we do that, please? Because it's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually need this shit.
Right.
Right? We need it. So, I mean, I'm a proponent of it. If you want, how do you argue against deforestation and in the same breath argue for the elimination of carbon dioxide? How does that work exactly? Last time I checked, photosynthesis kind of needs it.
Don't get all sciencey on me.
Now, college students have lost their ability to think rationally. They've been taken up by this religion, and I think it's high time we get back to science, not Faucian the science.
You're right.
Enough already.
Has anybody ever, I'm going to ask you a scholarly question, put you on the spot. Has anybody actually counted how many times Jesus said, do not be afraid or do not fear? Someone says it's 365 times in the Bible. Is that accurate?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
I don't think
Well,
that's
it'd be kind of neat if it is. That's one time for every day of the year,
we
right?
forget about it every once in a while.
It's a ton of times.
Right.
It's a ton of times. Let's put it that way. To George's point earlier.
No, I mean, we should talk about it at the men's study one of these days, really, because it really is the human condition. If you go back to the garden, Nico, really, if we go back and see what happened in Genesis 2 and 3, what changed? What changed that man decided
to act to God?
Lord, we got it from here.
Yep.
Thanks. And what immediately happened is what? They became afraid. And I love how I love how Moses points that out. Something happened. God's out of a job, and I'm afraid. That's important.
Yep.
And that's been our problem ever since. And what do? We double down on stupidity. We look for every opportunity, and we have recently in this country, unfortunately, to divest ourselves of any kind of thinking about God and his role in the affairs of the universe and the affairs of man, and to our peril.
Did you see that? Did you see that video going on?
And I'm glad there seems to be a reawakening.
There seems to be a very much reawakening. I mean, you see, if you haven't seen it, you should watch the Joe Rogan show.
I
with
have
Wes
not,
Huff.
but I cannot wait.
Talk about God elevating somebody. Wes Huff is an
wait.
apologist, a defender of
Yeah.
Christian ideology, working on his PhD. Extremely intelligent guy out of Canada. Studies languages, speaks Hebrew, Greek, or whatever. I mean, he's a smart dude. I mean, and so he was relatively unknown. I mean, I didn't even know who he was until I saw that someone sent me that discussion. You have to be kind of geeky to and I'm not that dude, so I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
But then some guy named Billy Carson, I didn't even know who that guy was, but he had made the rounds on Andrew Schultz, on Joe Rogan, on PBD, and he says a bunch of bullshit about the Bible and this Bible and the book of this and that, and then West explains how that discussion, it wasn't really a debate. He just annihilates him,
Can't wait to
destroys
watch
him,
it.
and then Billy Carson goes apeshit because he was so embarrassed after and makes it a mountain out of a molehill, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise. Within like a month, 4 to 6 weeks, Wes, lawsuits. I mean, the way he responded was insane. Reacted was insane. It just showed that he was full of shit. But from 4 to 6 weeks, Wes Huff went from literally an unknown to, I mean, he was on
God
PBD.
setup. It was a God setup.
100%. But he was ready for it.
Yeah.
So you need to watch that. I mean, I thought he did a very
I can't
good
wait.
job.
And then
To
he
your
got Mel
point,
Gibson
Joe,
on.
George. Huh?
And then Joe Rogan got Mel Gibson on. It's very.
I didn't watch that one. I had to speed watch the other one because I just don't have 3 hours. I had to chip away at it at 1.5. It's tough to watch and listen at 1.5. But I was intrigued by it because I was
Chipmunk
looking
theology.
forward to that. Huh?
Chipmunk theology.
Yeah.
I listened to the whole Wes Huff Rogan exchange, and I thought it was fantastic.
It was, right?
I do, and I think it'll do more, in my view, to advance the gospel in the modern era, perhaps even more than Billy Graham.
Wow, that's a
I
big
cannot
statement.
wait
No,
to
I
watch
really,
it.
as
I
I
heard
think,
about it.
well, I
I
mean, you
can't
think
wait.
about
you could tell
Joe.
Joe was very
think about Joe
intrigued with
Rogan's
him.
reach.
Yeah.
Think about the reach, and think about how fast information. There's no dig on Billy Graham. I have enormous respect for the man. And the Billy
different
Graham
times, yeah.
Evangelistic Association is a great organization, no question about it. But there's not a dig on Billy Graham. It's just saying it's just the times, and I would say when you get back to John 14:12, and Jesus says, greater works will you do than I myself.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I believe, it's the context of spreading the gospel. Jesus is going to be crucified 2 chapters later. And he's saying, look, what's going to change? Greater works are you going to do? What's the context of that? The context is sending forth the gospel, the good news that God inserted himself in human beings, in the lives of human beings to save themselves from themselves, okay? God did that. That's the message of Jesus Christ, God himself. And that news is going to catapult. And Jesus said in Acts 1:8 when he ascended, from Judea to Samaria to the utmost parts of the earth, greater works will we do. We can transport the gospel at the speed of light. Jesus did not do that and could not do that. At least not as in his human ministry. He couldn't do that, but we can. Think about that. That's magnanimous, it seems to me. And so Joe Rogan has an insane reach. And for Wes Huff to show up and actually talk, and look, I say this humbly, the stuff that Wes Huff was talking about has been out there for decades and decades and decades and decades. It's been the stuff of basic seminary teaching forever and ever and ever.
In certain seminaries.
Churches used to teach this kind of stuff. They did. And everybody's like,
but I was fascinated by it. I was fascinated by it because Joe says, I've watched 30 hours of you and you're different. I mean, he essentially said you're different. I mean, the way your logic, your thinking.
I think it's the tone.
He invited him back on to debate somebody. He said, sure, it'd be fun. I mean,
but he had Carson on as a supposed expert
before because they don't know the difference, and that's why I think PBD. Has it been released, Jeff, yet or no?
Yeah.
So Wes goes from Joe Rogan. I mean, so he starts from a nothing to the top. How do you work backwards? Like giving a kid, a Ferrari
Right.
for their first car. What do you do after that? I mean,
Yeah,
do you understand my point? I mean,
I do.
But he needs to work, and he's going to work his way back. I mean, but he goes from there to PBD because I think PBD felt Well, shit, I had this guy Billy Carson on too. I mean, I don't want.
Everybody wants a
even though
piece
he's
of that
Christian,
action now. Yeah.
And so it's
Ride
the
that
fear of
wave.
missing out, which is great, man. That's the way
That's
it
fine.
works.
That's okay.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll take
The
it.
game. That's the game.
But if you look at Billy Carson's, because he had Billy Carson on as well, and Billy Carson does this faux representation of ancient civilizations and languages, and actually at every turn mocks the Bible as just some other book. It's just some other book. It's just another creation myth. I mean, so Billy Carson is a faux expert. He's got a certificate from, where is it now? MIT. That's right. I think in neuroscience. He's got another certificate from Harvard, I think in ancient civilizations. Wow, you got 2 certificates. Congratulations, Billy. I guess that makes you an expert. But he's a very skilled video guy. And he puts
He was before.
He puts he puts videos out there, and they're pretty catchy. He's got some good graphics, and then he's got his certificate training. And I love that Wes Huff pointed out that, look, this isn't an expert. Hanging out on the surface of things, that's fine for a video.
But Karen, he just annihilates
cannot
him
wait.
in the-
I
But then he
cannot
goes
wait.
go back and
But then
find
he goes deeper and deeper.
the debate.
And that's the point. And that's why Rogan said, I sensed this is, well, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
Because the truth doesn't hang out in the surface of
Yeah.
things. The truth is deeper, and it takes time. And you got to, and yeah, that's right. When you actually go and get a degree, consider this. You might actually get tested on it. Oh, shit. I don't think you're going to do that with a certificate. So I love the distinction. I love the
was
faux,
good,
the
man.
faux
It
expert
was
and the
good.
great video maker versus the more low key, but very well trained and competent
And smiling.
and
apologist.
smiling.
Yeah.
'Cause I
He
think
was
that's gonna be
born to
key.
give the message. I mean,
It was
everything
God
in
bless
his
it.
background.
Look, something's
bless it.
happening here. Something's going
Yeah.
on here. People are hungry because people, I think, are seeing the effects. You know, we always say ideas have consequences. People have seen the effects of a godless world. We just have. I mean, and now, I mean, if you notice, have you noticed all the football players and all the athletes? I mean, you think? I mean, I just really, I think it's neat, and we need to be responsible. You know, George and I have been, you know, advocating biblical ideas for years now, many years. I mean, men's Bible study has been going on for 16 years, every week. And even in office, I was very bold about my faith, and I can debate it, and I can have a discussion with people about these ideas, and you can do what you want with your idea of free will. But I think people are hungry for something, for meaning, for purpose. And we're saying, okay, we've tried out this religion of agnosticism at best, but, you know, progressivism, this cultish mindset, this antithetical mindset to a biblical understanding and a true understanding, a properly 2 Timothy 2:15. Do your best to properly handle the word of truth. You know, work hard to make yourself approved to God. And I think the church kind of dropped the ball on that. And so this other religion stepped in, and I've always said this. I think I said this on the first podcast with Salo years ago in R-Rated. Whatever the church avoids, the enemy invades. And so the church avoided a lot of topics because they were afraid not to be liked. There was this addiction. The church became an addict over the years, addicted to being liked versus being credible and changing hearts and minds. I mean, Jesus wasn't even liked by everybody, so I don't understand the example we were set. I mean, in this world you will have trouble. I mean, if they hate you. I mean, so all that to say, I think there's an opportunity here for the church to bless people, for people to have meaning, for people to look to God for the answers, not us. I mean, not all ideas are the same. And as one apologist said years ago, we can't all be right. We can all be wrong, but everybody can't be right. All religions can't be right. All religions, all ideas can't be right. They can all be wrong, but the truth is exclusive. And so I pray that people will look for truth. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. You should watch the Joe Rogan one with Wes and watch his other videos. I mean, his whole ministry is blown up.
That's what
And
everybody's
he stays
telling
real
me.
humble, and it's fascinating the way things elevates in today's digital world.
Yeah.
So quickly.
All right. Well, good. Anything, Salo, any comments we can address? Any bitty cussing George out? No?
Oh, I have
R-rated
one-
on the 22nd, just for those people that have been asking when is R-rated coming back. So on the 22nd, we got a lot of surprises with R-rated, a lot of stuff coming up. So it's going to be fun.
Surprise me too then.
So
Yeah, we took some time.
After Trump gets inaugurated.
after Trump, we're
We
just
took
trying
some-
because
took
we're
some
afraid
time-
that
we took some time off just to you know, Salo's coming back in full time. Jeff's already been with us with R-rated, but we've been obedient. I think.
Yeah.
We with a little, and we
Yeah.
got shadow banned.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen now.
I'm excited. I'm
So,
excited
you
about
know,
that.
I mean, there were times we were doing a little bit of boosting, and we were getting
Because
10 to
Zuckerberg was
15,
on
20.
Rogan again. Did you hear that?
I
The
saw some
conversation?
of that, yeah.
And he was talking about the 3 billion people that get online, or 1.2 billion people that get online every day. So they establish some computer software algorithms to block certain phrases, words, and things like that. He says, we're doing away with all of that.
And just
So
gonna
I
have
think-
community notes or whatever
Yeah.
now, which is the right way to do it. Look, I mean, look, we can talk about this next time. I mean, whether Zuckerberg is genuine or not, that's only God knows that.
Right.
He came across well, I think, and I know there's a lot of people that are harsh on him, rightfully so. There's criticism. He seems to be open to taking it. He goes, we were wrong. We were pressured, all this stuff, whether you believe it or not, that's up to you. Well, the proof's in the pudding.
And I would also say as we sign off here that if you like what you're hearing and how we're saying it, then please consider contributing to Sidebar. I mean, you can do that. You go to sidebartv.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom, right, Salo?
Yes.
And please, this doesn't happen by accident. I mean, it takes time, effort, energy. It's a labor of love for us. We put a lot of investment into this because we believe what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I believe this is important. And if you agree with us, please considering joining the team by contributing to our efforts.
All right. Thanks, guys. Look, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for your thoughts and your comments and for viewing. Really appreciate it. We hope that this blesses you as much as it blesses us. And please share this with someone you think may benefit from it. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you.